Hello friends, this is my first installment on how to utilize a pine tree. A pine tree fell in the middle of the backyard on the road and I had to take care of it. The first thing I did was I cut off all the branches and chopped up all the pine needles and small branches and distributed them among the sand which is in the backyard. Usually you would have grass or moss holding the sand in place, but in this case it's all torn off and I figured maybe that would work. Actually, it didn't. It was a drop in the sea for not tearing off the moss, for holding the sand in place when cars go over it. And actually, I did it all with this small hatchet. I was amazed. It actually was really easy. I guess the tree was really dry. And in the end, I got a lot of firewood and a lot of straight pieces, which you could make into, for example, table legs, and a lot of trunks, which I will make into a carpenter's table. This is an interesting piece. You see branches have grown their separate ways and then merged into one another. Something unique. I had never seen that before. So I cut crosswise the tree trunks, and I know that they need to be somehow engulfed in something that doesn't let water through, otherwise they will evaporate too fast through the ends, thus making them shrink and thus making the whole trunk split. So this had a distillate, and so I figured I'll do it with the pine tar, using the pine itself. So I distilled it, and this is what was left over. I got some nice coals, which after that I used up in barbecue. The barbecue was really good. No, like bitter taste. This really smokeless, good coals. You can see on the lid there that was rosin that didn't go across too much. That stayed on the lid, but I was not planning to use that anyway. I ended up distilling some pine tar and turpentines, and of course I could use that rosin as well. The coals could be better, they could be softer. I guess I should have done it for longer. I did it for about 2 hours just by placing and burning wood around the bucket. And I was using a tube as the condensation apparatus. Well, anyway, this is what I got. I placed it in the freezer and then separated the two fractions, which was turpentines and the pine tar. After that, I wanted to test it out, so I took this white fir. I burnt one side and one top side and one side. The top and the sides, I burnt them, then brushed off the coals, and I was left with this. On the other side, it's still white. So I'm planning to paint over with the pine tar both the burnt and the unburnt sides, and paint over with the turpentines the other side, leaving the middle as the control to see how water resistant actually it is, because burning wood makes it water resistant, and pine tar is one of the easiest ways how to waterproof wood. Well, the oldest, maybe the best even. So I'm painting it over here. Quite a thick coat, but um, it'll evaporate and go into the grain, and it'll be good to touch. Not the first 2 days, but after that it'll be absolutely smooth to touch. It won't be sticky at all. Actually, a thing we discovered is that the pine tar has medicinal properties, as in it's antiseptic. Nothing can live within it. So if you need to um, get rid of bacteria or some kind of fungal growth somewhere, you can use pine tar for that as well. So, and this is the turpentine. You can see it's much more watery, as well as after putting it in the freezer, it remained completely liquid. as opposed to pine tar, which turned into kind of a cream, I'd say. But in the end, I saw that the turpentines are not as waterproofing as the pine tar itself, although it gives this nice tint, this brown tint, and it is perfectly non-sticky to the touch immediately after it dries, which is like a couple of hours after the first coat. I used only one coat on both sides and as well on the end grain. And this is how it looks. And there's another footage after some hours after drying. This is the part with the turpentines on the bottom, and this is the part with the pine tar on the top. Currently it's really sticky, you wouldn't want to touch it, otherwise your fingers will look like mine, if you can notice them once in a while. It looks good, especially the burnt side. I find it really beautiful. This is the next day after it dried. The burnt side looks really good. The grain is really embossed. Really has texture to it. And this is the part with the turpentines. In the middle, it's without anything, and on the top, it's the pine tar. The pine tar is shinier, noticeably, and out of focus there. And this is the pure pine without it being burnt. As you can see, the turpentines gave it that tint. And on the top, the pine tar gave it a good color, a good brown color, but still a bit sticky to the touch the next day. Here I want to test how waterproof exactly it is. This is the part with the pine tar. As you can see, the water doesn't want to stick to it at all. It's absolutely as plastic almost. And the other part, the other side is the turpentine side. Not very waterproofing at all. I'm showing the burnt side because it's easier to see in the camera, but it's exactly the same on the unburnt side, the white fur side. As you can see, the water goes into the grain as opposed to the side which is painted with pine tar. To make it even more visible, let's put some water on top. Let's give it all the possibility for it to soak in. And to my own amazement, on the part which was covered with pine tar, although after being sprayed with water, not sticky, is absolutely waterproof. Actually used pine tar in painting ships. The part which was in the water in the olden days. That's what they used. One stroke, two strokes, and completely dry. As you can see, the control is no different in being waterproof than the part which is covered with turpentines, which is just a general term for some fractions which distilled over, which nobody really knows what they are without testing, of which one is turpentine. Artisan's turpentine. And I don't know. I guess turpentine is subdivided in their own respect, but I don't know anything about that. Just let us assume that it's turpentines. Beautiful wood, frankly. I'd love a table out of burnt wood covered with pine tar. For the outside, I think it's your best bet. Your best bet. Of making a table which you could put outside and not worry about at all, ever. Clearly visible difference. Okay. Well, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video.